to fight on the landing ground.
Thank you for joining us. You are listening to A Radio, and this is the Morning Moment. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. This piece is entitled Ontario Premier Goes Nuclear, says Doug Ford is like Donald Trump. Well, he should wear that badge with pride because that's what I called him anyway. I believe he is like Donald Trump. Anyway, this is from David Craden. Now, David Craden is the Ottawa bureau chief for the Daily Caller, who also quotes the National Post in this piece. This is just part of the piece. In a desperate fight for a political survival, Ontario Liberal Premier Kathleen Wynne reached for the ultimate weapon in Canadian politics on Wednesday, comparing Ontario Conservative leader Doug Ford to President Trump. As the National Post reports, Wynne is hoping that voters in Ontario view Ford with the same obvious disdain that the Premier has for Trump. Well, there's a lot of people in Ontario that like Donald Trump, but there you go. Let's call this for what it is. Doug Ford sounds like Donald Trump, and that's because he is like Donald Trump. He believes in an ugly, vicious brand of politics that traffics in smears and lies. He'll say anything about anyone at any time because, just like Donald Trump, he's all about him, Wynne said. She said this at a hospital photo op on Wednesday. Pot calling kettle black, I think. With a June 7 provincial election edging closer, Wynne is apparently pulling out all the stops to stop Ford, whom all the polls suggest will be the next premier of Canada's largest and most industrialised province. And the piece continues. Right, Wynne has had her say. This is mine. Now let's just explain what's going on here. This is nothing more than a desperate Hail Mary pass to stop the complete and utter collapse of the Provincial Liberal Communist Party of Ontario in Canada prior to the June 7 election. Unfortunately for Premier Wynne and her communist friends, the jig is up. Ontarians, certainly outside of Toronto that is, know the truth because why? They live it every single day. There's a laundry list of complaints, and they are much more than just a list, and they are much more than just complaints. The highest prices in North America for electricity, the destruction of rural Ontario with her green energy bill, forcing windmills all over rural Ontario, together with massive unsightly solar farms, which devalue their properties. No one talks about that. Think about that for a moment. Solar farms in a part of the world where winter is nearly 6 months a year. It's even longer in the northern part of the province. And solar panels don't work when they're covered in thick ice and snow. Wind farms don't work above 50 miles an hour, so they can't work most of the year due to high winds in Ontario. That's just one thing. A gas power plant moved at taxpayers' expense because someone of importance didn't want it located in their backyard. Social engineering in our schools, forcing first and second graders to be taught about such things as gender neutral and sexual activities that would make most people's hair stand on edge. These children are having their childhood and their innocence taken away from them, all for political correctness. All for a vocal minority in downtown Toronto that wave a multicoloured flag. I'll let you draw conclusions who that is. Massive increases in regulations making it almost impossible for businesses to operate or even start up. The almost Stalin-like approach to climate change without a care in the world the damage these policies are doing to its citizens. Massive increases in what they call user fees, which are taxes, in such things as car registrations, yearly taxes on vehicles, etc. And there are many more. The almost complete collapse of road maintenance throughout the province, which is vital. The massive increases on wait times and quality of care in our hospitals. Not to mention the increases in gas taxes and, of course, the harmonised sales tax, which pushes prices up more. And on it goes. Spend, 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 promoting minority issues and ignoring majority of Ontarians. The absolute obscene way our seniors and vulnerable citizens are being treated, who are left to fend for themselves, facing an ever-increasing electricity prices and food costs, healthcare costs, having to choose between not just heating or eating, but whether they can afford that essential medicine as well. No, this is the legacy that the liberal communists are trying to run away from. And what are they doing? Wasting time changing legal forms so that they don't say Mr. and Mrs., removing any gender identity. Is this more important than reducing our energy costs and growing our economy? Apparently, yes. Putting social engineering and communist ideology before its citizens, holding on to power by faking a short-term reduction in energy costs in a vain hope of fooling the electorate. Let's hope that enough of us have seen through this fake socialist utopia to vote them all out of office on June the 7th. And oh yes, I saved the best till last. We have the highest debt per capita in the world. Our debt is greater than the debt of California. Let's put that in context. The population of California is the same as the whole of Canada. Your thoughts? Links on my site. You can find more at aradio.wordpress.com, where you can find links to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Gab and email. We are continuing to reach out to you, so please pass on the links. Please click on the follow button on Spreaker.com. You can listen to all my morning moments at Spreaker.com under A Radio, that's EHRADIO, A Radio. And please click on the like button. And you can find all my podcasts and morning moments at aradio.wordpress.com and click on the Morning Moments tab.